Hello to the tennis world. Shout out to John Coltrane, Giant Steps. But this video will be dedicated to my man Monfils. I think he's my favorite tennis player these days. And my channel wouldn't be a channel. It wouldn't be my channel without some highlights from this man right here. Very special, very special. And I want to talk about some things too, just during these points. You know, a lot of people play tennis like it's fine crystal. See, I didn't do that. What I did was I played it just like any other sport. You know, before I played tennis, I was quarterback, played baseball, I was the pitcher, shortstop, leadoff hitter. So I succeeded in everything I did when it came to athletics before before tennis. And so, I learned how to play chess. My dad taught me how to play chess when I was 7. So I put all those things together on the court. And instead of playing like everybody else, I played different. And that's going to be, one of my main goals here on my channel with YouTube is to teach people how to play a different way. I can't count how many matches I won and the person was actually better than me. It was just that I just could change it up. I didn't have to play the same way the whole match. As a matter of fact, sometimes I would develop new strategies during my match, or use several different strategies throughout the match to keep my opponent off guard, whether it be with the speed of the ball or where I was placing my shots. I applied pressure during big points. So instead of, on a big point, not taking a chance, I would take more chances. And what it would do is create uneasiness in my opponent. And when you get your opponent to feel like you're better than them, it's almost like you've won the match before it started. And a lot of good athletes are really good at winning the match without even hitting the ball. A lot of good tennis players win the match in the warm-up. So it's a lot to this game. It's levels to it. But back to Monfils, I played like this, and I wasn't as tall as him, but I was probably faster. And you can see how fast he is. So the point never ended. It didn't end. I would just run everything down. And a lot of times, I would hit balls, and I would watch kids think that they couldn't get a ball and they didn't try for it. But you would be surprised if you just keep running how many balls you would get. I see so many people stop and assume they can't get the ball. I always tell my students, I don't want you to stop running full speed until I see the ball bounce 3 times. If it hasn't bounced 3 times, I still want you running. If it's bouncing twice, I expect my students to still be running to that ball at 100 miles an hour. And what it does is it creates a go-get-everything attitude. That's what my dad was like. He would tell me, look, when I'm feeding you balls, I don't care where they go. My dad was terrible at feeding balls. But, what it did was it taught me to go get that ball that was 5 feet out. So by the time I got in my matches, anything in the court, there wasn't anything in the court that I didn't get pretty much, unless you overheaded it over the fence. A lot of people ask me sometimes, how'd you get so fast, man? Well, that's a good question, because I wasn't born that way. I had to work on it. I had to work on a lot of wind sprints. I would say one of the things that I always use, just mentally, was when you're trying to run fast or when you're doing your wind sprints, constantly think of trying to put one foot in front of the other faster. Each time, try and make it a little bit faster. And what will happen is over time, you'll start increasing your speed. I think I try and do 13 steps side to side on the court with kids. It depends on how tall you are, but you need to find out how many steps it takes for you to get from one side of the court to the other. And try and see if you can decrease whatever that foot speed is you start out with. If it's 7 steps, 8 steps, try and see if you can get it down to 6. Go back the other way. Try and see if you can get it down to 5. You see what I mean? And like eventually what you'll do is you'll increase your stride and your quickness. You'll also learn the size of the court. A lot of times people don't think they can get to a ball because they honestly don't know how big the court is. So you want to do your wind sprints on the court, on the lines. Baseline to net, side to side, alley. Well, that was my little video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I always like watching this guy. That's another thing, man. Have some fun with this game. People take it way too serious. Like, you don't have to try and win every point. You're not going to win every point. So you might as well have some fun with it, too. Just like, any other sport. Get out there, have some fun. And you know what? When you're out there having fun and not stressing, you're going to play better. And even if you lose, you're gonna feel better. Because you went out there and had some fun. And that's another thing too, like a lot of like juniors, they want to try like fancy shots during the match. That's cool, as long as you practice it. Don't go out there on the match and start trying to hit the ball between your legs. No, these guys do. Anybody who does stuff like this, if I was gonna do something that was a trick shot, I practiced that. You see what I mean? Nothing was done randomly where I'm just trying to like impress the crowd. No. All these shots that Monfils is doing, these people think he's just making that up out the back of his mind. No, he does that in practice. You see what I mean? That's practice. Do you see that shot right there down the line? Now imagine if every tennis match was like this. You have more people watching it than basketball. But everybody plays the same. Barely make a sound in the tennis match in the audience without people like, you can't even stand up while somebody's serving. Like it's ridiculous. Like tennis is not that hard. It's actually easy. But you can just see this guy here, his creativity and his just athletic ability and just having fun, man. Smile. I want to say shout out to Tennis TV for this, We Sport, and John Coltrane, Giant Footsteps. Listen to it. It's an awesome album. Go ahead and turn this off. It's kind of hard to, but because he's so good. You can just watch this all day, right?